This might be the biggest mismatch as far as special teams is concerned in the entire first round. And if Montreal can keep taking penalties, this series will not last long. I am Mark Wallace. This is Weekday Wagers. I am joined by Robbie Hockey. Robbie, let's get into this one. Look, Tampa is built for playoff hockey, right? I mean, that is just what they do. They got elite scoring, elite power plays. Montreal, they're scrappy, but they're playing with fire here, right? They're taking over 9 penalty minutes per game. And against this Tampa Bay team, that's a death sentence. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. They're also now down Noah Dobson, one of their top defenders. He's out. Not sure how long, but that's going to reflect as well because Montreal defensively, that has been their weakness all year. Lane Hudson is great, especially on the offensive side of the puck. But defensively, they've had some struggles throughout this season. And you're exactly right. Tampa Bay is built for this. Now, Tampa Bay has also not had great years as of late. You know, a team called the Florida Panthers have had their number the last few years. But there's no Florida Panthers this year. You just got Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki in front of you in this series.
So you bring up Nick Suzuki. He's got 101 points on the season. Although Tampa Bay has got Nikita Kucherov, who's sitting at 130 points. From a player prop standpoint, how do you approach this kind of game? Do you think Kucherov gets his way against Montreal, or do we see Suzuki kind of step up and really light up Tampa Bay?
I think both are really in play. Now, when you're looking at value, Kucherov plus 115 is solid. But Nick Suzuki is a guy who can score, and he's an assist machine. Like, anytime there's goals, Nick Suzuki is a part of it. He's on that line with Slavkovsky and Cole Caulfield on the top power play. I think for the value, even if Montreal loses, I think Nick Suzuki at plus 550 is tremendous value for a guy who got over 101 points, as you said, this season. I think he's the first Montreal Canadiens done that in a long, long time. Right. So I would lean Suzuki just because of how tremendous the value is and the type of player he is. Now, you're wanting that to go at least 6 games if you expect him to score more than Kucherov. The thing with Kucherov, too, is they're getting weapons back. Tampa Bay has been demolished by injury bugs all year. Braden Point's back. Hagel is back. Victor Hedman, I'm not 100% yet if he's going to make an appearance. Darren Radish, who's filled in for Victor Hedman, going to get a nice payday at the end of the year. You got a lot of weapons on Tampa Bay, whereas in Montreal, you have some weapons. Ivan Demidov, Josh Slavkovsky, Cole Caulfield, and Suzuki. But I think there's more value on that Suzuki side of it.
Look, I am so glad you could pronounce those names. So you've got Kucherov, right? And that's kind of where, if you're looking at this from a prop standpoint, it's where everything begins. I mean, that's not foolish, right?
No, it's absolutely correct. And he won't be on the line with Gay Gonzalez or whoever. He'll be on the top line with true top line players as well, now that they're all back.
Okay. And so is looking at maybe a power play point from Kucherov, is that where you can kind of sneak in some value? Simply because this Montreal team, they are going to have to play at a very, very high level. And what happens typically is that you get these lower seeded teams, these teams that are just – Montreal did not kind of earn their – I mean, they limped into these playoff spots, right? I mean, they didn't seal this up. It wasn't a done deal. And when you look at those kind of teams and you look at the way that they come in, they almost play to a style that creates penalties and puts them at a disadvantage because they're overplaying. Against this Tampa Bay team, that could be very, very dangerous.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say they limped in, but I think there's the easy road and then there's the hard road. And I think they took the hard road to get here. And you got to look at the East too, at all the guys that were in contention for that spot. So, and considering they haven't been there since these two teams played each other in the COVID era. I think it's 2021 where all the divisions were jacked up. This is a rematch of that Stanley Cup final. I will say this, Vasilevsky for Tampa Bay, you hear that name and you think shutdown goalie. That's true, but in his last few playoff series, he has not been a shutdown goalie. So can Vasilevsky get back to his normal ways in this series as well? That'll be real telling in game one. I think game one for this is really going to dictate what you're going to see in this series. If Montreal can keep up the score with Tampa Bay the way Buffalo did, I think you might be in for a ride, and we could see another Florida Panthers remix with the Canadiens.
You bring up an excellent point. And I was just going to say, because the model has this series going to 7 games, Tampa Bay in 7. Now, when I was trying to wrap my head around that, like, what the hell is this thing seeing that I'm not? You look at a guy like Andrei Vasilevsky, who has played, he has started for Tampa Bay in 87% of their games this season. He is exhausted, which to your point, his last few outings, he is not that guy, that we expect. He's just not there. And I think that Tampa Bay relies on him so heavily during the regular season that they get to this spot in the playoffs, and he just doesn't have any more gas in the tank.
Yeah, and the other side, you got Montreal, Jacob Fowler, who's a young goalie who's shown a lot of life this season, and then Dobish is their other one. So they actually have been able to move some things around and not have one guy be so playing all the entire season, like you said, 80-something% of the season. But there's also that other X factor, Corey Perry, who the worm who just will not go away. He is back with Tampa Bay, and this is his time to shine. We've done how many Edmonton, Florida series, and Corey Perry is always involved with scoring. So if you're looking for like a long shot point prop, it's got to be in a plus 150, plus 175. You could do way worse than Corey Perry in this series. But I 100% agree. Your power play point for Kucherov and even Darren Radish, because he's the point man and has been on that power play all year. If Darren's odds are too juiced for 1 point, look at those power play points. You can get tremendous value with him and Kucherov for a power play point.
And looking at that and seeing somebody who probably has a point, like I just off the top of my head, you start looking at Nikita Kucherov's, for him to get a point in a game is probably so juiced that you have to parlay that with another player. Yeah. I'm kind of approaching Tampa Bay to win the series the same way. It is so juiced right now. When you look at this number here at minus 235, do I think the minus 1.5 games scares the hell out of me because the model has this going to 7 games. So for me, I don't see a lot of value there. What I do see is if I pair that with Buffalo to win their series and Tampa Bay to win their series, I can get that for plus 115 over at BetMGM. Is that a smarter way to approach these?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think you, me, and the model, all three agree this one should go 7 games. And now that, home ice was a big deal and Montreal choked this week. They couldn't, I can't say choke because it wasn't guaranteed that they were going to get home ice because Tampa still had a game in hand. But they took themselves out of the home ice contest by losing this week. The home ice is going to, I think, play the biggest factor in this. If it goes 7, Tampa, I think, will dominate it. I would say dominate, but they will win game 7.
They will win game 7. And you do think that this thing sees 7 games?
Absolutely. It's one of the ones that has the most potential to see game 7 because of the players on each side. I think you got enough offense that this could be that series where if you're looking for points and goals, this could be one of the higher scoring series on the docket for the first round.
Interesting. Okay, interesting. Well, look, I think Tampa's power play is going to be the absolute difference in this series. Montreal just can't stay out of the box. And with that, don't forget, we are live every single day right here Monday through Friday on Weekday Wagers, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where myself, DG, and Rob break down everything you need before you start betting the games on the day's slate. And if you want the full edge, all the projections, all the data, head on over to justastatsports.com. Use code WAGERS, that's WAGERS 50. And you're going to get 50% off of your first month. Let's keep stacking.